Like every 7 minutes, you got like a button, you can like the defensive threat. They bring out people.
Okay, 7 o'clock, so we'll start this meeting. I'd like to welcome you all to the town of Greensburg planning board meeting, February 20th. So, I guess the good thing about that is March it might be a lot longer. But in any event, welcome everyone here. My name is Jeff Schmidt. I'm the chairperson of the town of Greensburg planning board. The agendas are at the table. We have to sign in, and we also have agendas that are circulating via the town's website 10 days prior to the meeting. That's kind of standard protocol. The first part of tonight's meeting would be what we call the open forum. It allows anybody in the audience to make a comment that may be of interest to the board. May not, so your discretion, but we allow you to make public statements so long as the topic that you're going to speak about or question the board about is not on tonight's agenda. So listen to the agenda items. We ask that we reserve any comments regarding that topic. Don't get that topic on the agenda. So before I open the open forum, I'd like to introduce the members of the board.
So I'm Mike Harris, I'm the vice chair.
Matt Hoffman, planning board member. Josh Houghton, planning board member.
Like Walpole, planning board member.
Tracy Baker, attorney for the planning board.
Lindsay Altizer, planning board clerk.
And Elizabeth Novak cannot be here tonight. She's the other deciding member of the board. Just a couple of things on order. This is a meeting with the board and applicants to the board. We love it that the public comes. We just don't want any dialogue between the public and a potential applicant. If you've got an axe to grind or you have an issue with something you say, it's the board's business to deal with these applications, and you're welcome to listen and address the board, but not have a conversation with someone that may take you off, or you just have the hardest feelings for it. So just keep that in mind, because we will ask you to stop. With that, I'll make a motion to open the open forum for the town of Greensburg planning board of February 20th, 2024.
I'll second that.
Chairman Schmidt,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Board Member Hoffman,
Yes.
Board Member Houghton,
Yes.
Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
There's a lot of silence there in the open forum.
I guess I'll go first. How about
Okay. Can you introduce yourself by your name and
that? This is an open
location?
forum. Robert Foster from Wayne Lake Road. How many acres is Green Michael or Michael? How do you say that? I'm not sure. How many acres are they trying to propose to do the project there?
So that's on the agenda. So can we?
Oh, I thought this was open forum about the agenda. No.
So the open forum is intended to be on topics that are not on the agenda.
Oh, not.
So when we get to that topic, if you have a question
There we
or
go.
address,
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, no
sorry.
problem. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. So this is an opportunity for anybody to bring up things that are not on the agenda.
Okay.
We'll-
No, that's fine.
Okay. All right, so hearing nothing, I'll make a motion to close the open forum for the February 20th, 2025 meeting.
I can second that.
Chairman Schmidt,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Board Member Hoffman,
Yes.
Board Member Houghton,
Yes.
Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The next item on tonight's agenda would be public hearings, and there are none scheduled for this evening. So we'll move right to old business. If you have the agendas, you can follow them closely here. Frank Yunker, 183 Spring Road. He's a special use permit for a two-family dwelling. He's been here many times. I think he was, yeah, we approved them based on a submittal of a revised engineering map showing all the details. I think the board has received that map. I know Chris has looked at it. I believe you're satisfied.
Yeah, I think Matt's the one that had the questions.
We showed the cross section of the bench drains, the material, the fabric.
Yep.
And the offsets.
tying that roof gutter in,
Yeah,
that the
it's-
other item was.
Yeah, and he's got it shown there. Yep.
Yeah. So based on that, I believe, anybody else on the board have any comments, Josh or anybody?
No, I think.
Okay, Frank, you've satisfied the board's concerns and, until we approved the permit last time based on these,
Based on that.
on the conditions, so, you're done with it.
Right.
You have to deal with Chris.
That's right, one is a lot easier than 6 or 7.
He's got a bigger hammer than we do.
I didn't say it was gonna be easy, but yeah,
There you go.
appreciate it.
Oh, well, you wish you luck and, thank you for putting up with the
Thanks.
the process. You have to respect the process, because everyone is treated the same process. Okay, so thank you. Thanks. You can stay for the rest of the enjoyment of the meeting.
Well, it looks like it's gonna be fun, but I got other things to do.
Wait, Mr. Young, before you go, let's check in a minute. To make sure, does anybody have a copy of the minutes from last time?
Yeah, should I not give them?
I don't know if they were on the
We're in the
website.
very end.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to make sure we didn't forget to do something.
Other than months left.
Yeah, I think he's not, I think he was December.
It was December, sorry, that's right.
I can look it up.
I spent
I mean.
January.
Why don't we vote on it again, just in case, now that you satisfied the condition, that way we have a reflection of that in the records.
Okay,
I feel better.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the special use permit for the Frank Junker two-family dwelling with the conditions being satisfied of having the roof drain tied into the drain pipe and having the cross section updated on the plan.
I'll second that.
Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt.
Yes.
Board Member Hoffman.
Yes.
Board Member Houghton.
Yes.
Board Member Walpole.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item on tonight's agenda
Thank you.
under old business is Gabriel Medina. They propose to redevelop the Quaker Inn to make that pizza delivery service. Are they here tonight?
I don't see them.
I also didn't see a revised plan, what we asked.
There wasn't, so I basically I told them if you don't have a revised plan, there's not really a reason to come, but we wanted to come anyway, so I put them on.
Okay.
But he's not here,
All
so.
right, so
Bringing the plan.
I'll make a motion to table the Gabriel Medina special use permit to our next meeting, which would be March 20th.
Well, second. Yeah.
Chairman Schmidt.
Yes.
Board Member Hoffman.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Board Member Houghton.
Yes.
Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
Great. The next series of topics we're going to talk about fall under the category of sketch plan review. And these are very preliminary concepts that people in the town with developers come in to the board to seek, basically start a process. Yeah, the process can be pretty arduous and or it can be easy depending on the complexity of the project and a number of factors. The first thing on tonight's sketch plan review would be Karine Dell, located on Western Turnpike, seeks a major 4-lot subdivision. And I think Chris Longo,
Yes.
Empire Engineering is the representative. Chris, we did get a new map, which differed quite substantially from the previous map that we had at the last meeting. And so maybe we can go through, you know, what transpired to make those changes and, you know, what's the status of the proposal?
Yeah.
There's a new application, I believe, was submitted with that. Last,
Just revised.
just realized, yeah, okay, all right. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. As mentioned, Christopher Longo, Empire Engineering, representing the owner, Ms. Karen Michelle. And so, yeah, we're talking about the property along Route 20, just west of the Long Energy propane tanks. So we were here last month in January and presented to the board it was a application for subdivision, but also included in that application was a special use permit for a recreation center. That recreation center has been removed from the plans, and the facility is no longer proposed here at this site. The subdivision is still proposed, and we would like to pursue the residential dwellings. What we're proposing is 4 new building lots. It currently exists as a single building lot, the 71 acre parcel. So the commercial 2.8 acres has been removed from the application as well. There will be no effect to that parcel. It is common ownership with Ms. Michelle, but that's no longer part of the application. There is still a proposed roadway. We started some discussions with the supervisor and the town highway superintendent. We haven't really gotten anywhere with that yet. I know it would require significant coordination, approval for a roadway. It didn't sound like the town was interested in long-term ownership and maintenance. So Ms. Michelle would have to take on the additional burden of filing this roadway under the procedures. And I think Teresa could probably help me with the specific acronym for it, but it would be a privately owned and mutually responsible of the 5 lots that would benefit from this roadway. Teresa, what was the acronym again?
There's under the law of the state of New York, there is 2 types of filing you make with the New York State AG's office. One is called a CPS 7 and the other is called an HOA. Either one of them can provide for shared facilities like a privately owned road. However, it would not have frontage on a public road, so you would need to go to the zoning board of appeals.
Okay, so even with the CPS 7, it would not be a separate parcel, the roadway?
No, the way the law works is under 280-A in the New York Town Law, you have to have frontage on a public road. You can't have frontage on a public road if it's a private road. So that means you would have to get an approval from the ZBA or the town board. And usually it's through the ZBA. And it would be like an area variance.
So we would like to pursue that. We're here obviously presenting this revised concept because the planning board was certainly made aware of something that was drastically different than this. We would like to pursue the 5 dwellings, currently 1 dwelling, so basically creating 4 additional building lots. They would be large enough parcels to meet the required minimums of 100,000 square feet, so a little over 2.2 acres. I guess through this meeting and through some technical correspondence with the town and probably with Chris, we could talk about how the official lot lines are shown in an application to the ZBA for the parcels that I guess technically would not be on a public roadway because it would be proposed as a private road.
On the buildings that are represented on the plat, are they single family residences?
That's the size of them is shown general 40 by 50, I believe. As I understand, the zoning code would allow for a single in this R2 district would allow for single family by right. Any 2-family dwelling, obviously this is not part of a special use permit, but any 2-family dwelling, if it were proposed, would require a special use permit from the board. Obviously on a case-by-case basis. I don't know if there's any intention there, but it would be in compliance with the zoning code as far as these are requested to be, new created lots, single family by right, 2-family by special use permit requiring additional review.
Just to be clear, not by right, because you have to get the ZBA approval for the frontage.
Right, yeah, I'm sorry. If approved in this orientation, if approved, we're looking for 4 building lots in addition to the single building lot that's already there.
And will these lots be sold, leased, or retained by the applicant for rental purposes?
Karen, would you wanna offer any of that? But, it's certainly an investment. She owns the property now. She's looking to, subdivide to maximize what she can get out of the land. Obviously, we had some lengthy discussion last month about, additional use of this. So what I've tried to do is develop a project that would, be confined to, nearest to the roadway. But I don't know for long-term ownership or, sale or whatnot. Obviously, there's a single building lot there now. Is looking for 4 new.
This layout, Chris, is gonna be between, I don't know what your total acreage of disturbance is, but it's gonna require a SWIP and you're gonna need a stormwater facility. Doesn't look like you're showing, any proposed stormwater facility for the road. The only place it could potentially be is within the commercial zone based on the orientation now, it looks like. So, and obviously that stormwater parcel is gonna have to be tied to these 4 lots in the HOA or whatever mechanism you guys choose as an entity for these 5 lots. So, I think that's something that's gotta get shown on here because you're probably gonna have to cut into that C1 commercial lot somewhere, take property from that. So now we're doing a lot line adjustment as well to that parcel.
Yeah, I certainly been trying to kind of figure out some storm features. There is a possibility to maybe take some from this lot and keep it at the 100,000 square feet and take a large portion of the road, and then you would just have some a much smaller area, contributing area to go. There's a large drainage ditch running west on Western Turnpike. So that's the ultimate discharge. So if we could break it up into multiple smaller areas, that's a possibility. But yeah, certainly this is a sketch. We haven't gone into a detail pond design and storm.
Yeah, I know
practice design.
DOT is usually hesitant though on accepting new drainage into their
What I can
infrastructure
say is
system.
this all drains to the roadway right now. We are not changing that condition. That would remain
Okay,
from pre and post, and we would discharge less than preconditions or existing conditions.
What is just to be clear, now we're having a 5 lot subdivision as approved before it was 4 lots, 4 buildings. And the 5th lot is what, 79 acres or something like that. And I know in one of the write-ups, there was a proposal about, developing a 6 to 8 bedroom unit. And is that something that would be contemplated for that large area? Because you would meet the coverage restrictions very easily, 70 acres.
So, right, the proposal is for 4 building lots because there is one there's one allowable building lot there now.
It's still 5 though.
It's
Still considered a 5 lot subdivision.
Right, so for the terms of the board,
Right.
5 lots, for the terms of realty subdivision, because the last lot is larger than 5 acres, it's 4 new and 1 larger than 5, but yeah, so. This parcel, it's not included and there's no proposal for a special use permit to have multiple families. Under this application. This would be, so I guess kind of jump ahead toward what I figured was going to be the end of this conversation tonight was. Through Karen's initial conversations with the town, there was mention of, tell us what you plan to do there, show it on a plan, get a master plan out there. We got the master plan out there last month. That certainly caught plenty of resistance. That master plan has changed. We're showing this master plan. Ultimately, Karen is not ready or prepared or wants to construct this plan now, this year, or in the immediate future. She does want to build a house on the property though. So although we're showing this plan and we want to continue to pursue this subdivision, ultimately a ZBA request and their consideration for the road layout. Karen's immediate goal and hopes here is to build a home for herself to live on the property. That would include a private residential driveway that ultimately, at the end of if the master plan project would need to be improved based on a final plan, but really, we're showing this to you now. Whether we say we table it, whether we say it's out there so that at least you know. But what Karen would like to do is pursue constructing a home here and really this year. So although we're showing this application, we kind of need to, rein it back a little bit because she wants to build a private home.
Teresa, can they build a home while you have an application? Can you alter the land while you have an active application?
No, because we would be doing the seeker review for the whole thing.
Yeah,
That's why I don't want now. And you, for instance, you couldn't build that as a driveway and then proceed with the subdivision approval. The problem would be, at what point would the town be assured that there would be a real road? I mean,
So-
yeah, I mean, have you thought, if it's her intention to build a single family house there, have you thought about an option that gets her a single family house without now anything other than, proximity to Route 20 and a regular driveway? I mean, that would make more sense than what you're proposing here.
Yes, we've thought about that. I didn't present that plan or show it here to the board because it's not actually even a board action. It would be a building permit request. So we're showing the board this plan. She would like to ultimately develop the property this way. If that means a private driveway, which technically would be temporary because ultimately that could not support 5 houses on it, then that may be the situation. She could develop, I mean, you've seen single family houses built with 1,000-foot long driveway, anywhere in town, but.
So the first house she's planning to build is going to be the one on the 66 acres.
No, the thought right now, and we've as we mentioned last month, there was some brush hogging done to make it walkable. Again, no disturbance, ground disturbance there, but there's a clearing here that was getting to be some overgrowth. This is significantly forested. So in order to get to the edge of what would be the contemplated development now, you would have to go into some forested area and do some serious clearing. Right now, there's, what was overgrown, this is it sits on a really nice spot on the top of the hill, and it's a great spot for a home. So right now, we're looking at this, but again, it's not going to be subdivided. There's certainly not going to be any sort of approvals or, completed seeker reviews or anything. So I guess the wonder, my challenge right now is how we go from what we've presented, because that was, the intention and the goal was to show a master plan, but rein it back in because she needs to construct her home. That's kind of where I'm trying to figure out where to go.
I mean, the best way to deal with that is just to withdraw your application and just proceed with a single family home. Because the way you're heading with it now, you're gonna have to do the SWIP and the seeker and go through both the ZBA and a planning board process for a subdivision. So, you can't really do them simultaneously.
Right, and it would hold up the house, right, just so Karen gotta understand this too. It would hold up the house construction, if I'm hearing you right, so Chris would not be able to issue a building permit without,
The subdivision was approved.
Right.
without the completion of everything and the completion of seeker. So,
Right, right.
But then if the subdivision was completed, they wouldn't necessarily have to build the subdivision right away. They could build a driveway and a home, right?
Well, that would be up to you all. That would be up to you whether or not you would approve it as a phased development. That would essentially be the case. So all the problems kick in at the second dwelling.
Yeah.
Okay. As long as, because Chris, you won't even be able to sell lots, or lose control of the land where the road is gonna be, so, it's up to you guys how you wanna proceed, but Jeff, what do you think?
I think if the interest is to build a single family home for the owner of the house, that's what they should do, and I put this on hold because there's too many ifs, and really can be extremely expensive to go through this process, a lot of steps and a lot of time, public hearing, looks like the SWIP speaker.
And Chris, there's issues there in terms of capacity of the soil for septic and, wells and stuff. So, you're gonna have to, you can't even start to develop that information for the subdivision until this horrible winter is over, and that's not gonna be till May.
Next week, next week. Not over now.
There's somebody who's optimistic.
But if they can locate the house. In a position where they go, if this is your master plan, you can locate that house, the building, and then that way you're not having to reinvent your design.
Right,
Yeah, if you put your driveway, took a piece off the commercial lot. To put the driveway for the single family house to keep the right of way for the potential road in the future.
So you could keep using the driveway. while
Yeah.
you build the road.
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, in the interest of time, that's the most expeditious way to do it. But, as the proposals changed or matured from that, single family home, then, we're back here with lots of questions and, a lot more engineering to accommodate that. And the concern would be that there's a huge piece of property in the back and, you kind of tipped your hand at the last time, and I think you're welcome to change your mind. But that other proposal had a lot of tripwires in it as far as I was concerned about, capacity, large residential structures, 6 to 8 bedrooms, bathrooms, and, like I say, with the septic and the soils in this area, I'm not so sure you can even build a house with 8 bedrooms up there, so there's,
That's about.
we don't want to get a position where, you get your foot in the door and then start segmenting the project away under seeker. We need, we've seen a broad display of what the concept was. Now whittled down to this, and then people whittle down even further. It's just a driveway and a house. And so,
Remember too, the driveway down long, fire codes are gonna kick in as far as apparatus and stuff. So. Something to keep in mind.
I mean, if you want to, do the single family house, I think we'd have to get a special use permit for the roadway in the commercial.
Well, it depends on if they put the road on residential or the.
Yeah, and then just give a building permit. But it's really up to you how you want to present this, because there's a lot of local interest. I think all the people can really, there are papers.
I will say, I think, 5 single-family residential homes is much more palatable than the previous application, and I think it's, you know, something that could be doable.
It's just not doable in that time.
Yeah.
I understand that, and that's why we wanted to come back here tonight, right away, explain the changes, and certainly, you know, Karen heard those tripwires, as you mentioned. There was a lot of dollar signs and price tags attached to everything that would have to go into studies and reviews. And that's where she wanted to at least show this altered plan to you. But yes, she is under a different timeline. She'd like to have a house constructed here and to live here. So it doesn't really make sense to try and finish the subdivision process and hold up a building permit. So if what you're saying here tonight too is we cannot apply for a building permit with Chris if there's still the active subdivision, then we probably need to just close this application for the time being and
Yeah,
pursue a single family house, which wouldn't come back to the board as long as it's a single family dwelling, wouldn't come back to the board, it would just go to Chris. And then we can accomplish that project. Like Chris says, in our code, we may build a road or we may build a private driveway that looks just the same as this road by the time it's 20+ feet wide, 24 feet wide, whatever it may be. This property is, it's still problematic. There was these are the existing lot lines. It was kind of set up for a road corridor, but it meanders, so, you know, we can get out into the field and site that private driveway where it should go. And maybe as that time goes, if there is ultimately an application here, it may not even be for this road as you see it, after the house is selected in the best spot and the septic system is placed and the well is drilled. As you mentioned, the tripwires of available water, right? So this first order of business would be to get well water on a single house. And use that information to see if there's even capacity for additional wells. Here we're showing 5 new wells. If we get one in the ground, and that may not be the case that 5 is appropriate, then that could change this plan as well.
The only thing I would say is if you have to shift the driveway based on your ultimate design to the east into that commercial property, then you would potentially have to come back to the board for a lot line adjustment, right?
well,
Or would they be able to do that with Chris?
no, I think you would then have to come back for a lot line adjustment because you can't. You need frontage on the lot, Chris.
We get going to a different lot to get onto the same lot, that way you frontage, right?
Yeah, because you still need, what is it, 60 feet of frontage on,
So when you're figuring out your design, if you think that's the most best path, you may have to come back for that lot line adjustment.
it would still be done submersible though, doesn't matter if you change the lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's just simpler if you build a house and you put the road and the residential.
Right, we're gonna try and fit there, we're gonna try and fit on the 60, yeah. Even though it curves and whatnot, we'll fit on the 60.
Right, I know we have a lot of people that showed up tonight, and this is not a public hearing, but we would be willing to entertain a few comments from the audience. Just identify yourself and by your name and location, and keep this brief, you know, and not like grandstand, but the board's willing to listen to a few comments. Okay.
Diane Grant, 1050 Square Heritage Center. I would like to know what the intentions are if this said plan was to be in place with the homes, if they are going to be sold off to family, friends, anyone who's willing to purchase the home in the area. What's the plan? Who's gonna be living in those homes?
I would refer that to the owner,
My children.
So you don't have intentions of selling the homes to people who are interested in moving into Greensburg? You have people that you think will be living in the homes?
Yes.
You can control that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's-
No.
Ritual drum.
Yeah.
They were gonna get married then.
We've had this conversation before in the context of ADUs. Like if somebody comes in and says, I want to put an apartment in my garage, you can't say it's a mother-daughter, you can't, you can't limit who's gonna live there. Just to be clear,
Understood.
Diane.
I've got a question. Is it the last hour that is putting? That is applying for these permits, because that's what I saw on some of the other information. So last hour is a business, right? It's a.
Yeah, that was a.
It's a mission where they
That
do,
was-
they they relocate the Haitians here. So that's what I would be concerned about, is using this property for relocating immigrants.
Okay,
Especially with the way that
so-
he was-
So,
way-
sir,
or-
we're not
well,
gonna talk about that.
Okay, but relocating people, it's still a business, right? So it's kind of a business, right? So
No,
is this
this-
going to be a business or is this gonna be a private home?
The planning board looks at the uses of the land, like what's gonna be built on
Well,
it.
right,
They don't look
Right,
at
if it's a
who's gonna be
mission, that's
living
not a
there.
home. A mission is different than a house.
I understand what you're saying. I
So
understand
it's, that's why, and it's serious, and that's, that's what he does.
You own a house in town, right?
Yes, but and if I was a
And
mission, I would have to come here and say, I'm gonna be a mission, I'm gonna be housing 10, 20 people. And whatever, right? And then I would have to come from town approval. That's all I'm asking. If this is a mission,
You have
last,
to have 2 years permit.
right, last hour is a mission and that's what we're applying as, last hour. So how,
If you had, look. The law is very clear that municipalities can't regulate what is a family, okay? So, and
It's a
this is,
it's a business.
you can have an LLC and own land and subdivide it for residential purposes.
Okay,
It doesn't make it a business. The purpose they're seeking here is residential subdivision.
okay.
Okay.
But the other thing that's also very, which I didn't like from him, honestly, is like, is it gonna be a multi-family housing? Oh, right? Single family, like, what are the houses gonna be? Are they gonna be single family or multi-family? This is a plan that, you've constructed, like, you should know what it's going to be. No comment?
Right now, they're single.
Well, he
no.
did say he wasn't sure.
Right now, it's,
I
Right
left it
now,
open
it's
to
a-
the owner. I wasn't going to back the owner into
Well,
a
the-
corner of
Well,
what is allowed by the zoning code.
We're not, this isn't a public hearing.
Okay, that's
And
just,
as Jeff said, this is very preliminary, and as you've heard, even over the course of tonight, the scope of the project has changed a lot.
right, shouldn't you have to resubmit to the planning board each time rather than, you can't, in my town too, where I've done work, you can't go to the planning board and be like, oh, we're gonna put up a conference center. Oh, wait, and then you go to the planning board, and be like, oh, wait, we're gonna do 5 houses. They'd be like, what? No, you have to reapply.
And he did
With
submit a new plan, and that's. what
With new
we're
money,
looking at.
because that's what it usually entails, right? You have to repay up, right?
There was an application for subdivision. That application remained. The application for special use permit was withdrawn.
Okay.
If you'd like, we could, anyway, here, what I can do here. To save everybody some aggravation and maybe a little bit of blood boiling. Ms. Michelle is going to withdraw the subdivision application. There is no application for 5 lots and a subdivision right now. She owns the property. She'll do what she can with it. Within the bounds of what the building department can permit without us having to come to this board. So I guess that's what we would ask the board to consider, a withdrawal of the application for subdivision. If there is a new application, as gentleman mentioned, there would be a reapplication at that time for whatever the project may be.
Okay, Chris, so that's an official request to withdraw the application because we can make a motion.
I don't think we need to.
Accept
We
it.
don't need to.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris, you should just send a letter to the town withdrawing it.
Okay. Well, another question back there.
Just on future reference, Ben Yockler, I live on 1443 Mud Road, also 20 acres on Knight Road. If I originally come with just a 1-family idea, and then I want to turn it into something that, with 2, 3, 4, does creating the one house make it easier for me to subdivide those things. So if I have a plan of 5 and I don't really own it, I just build one and then does it make it easier for me to do the 5 later on?
No, we have to come through the full subdivision.
Cynthia Chrisman, I'm at 3025 Western Turnpike. We own about 80 acres, about half of that is wetlands, right next to this property. I contacted DEC. They confirmed that this parcel, this 71.6, does have hydric soil. It does have wetlands. The map that they had was not current. And they told me that any disturbance to the property, a prerequisite would be a soil study to determine any hydric soil. And then any building, and I don't know if that includes wells and septic, would be required to be at least 1,000 feet from any existing hydric soil. So could the building permit be issued without that?
So I think the best answer to that is DEC just created a new wetland program that took effect in January 1st. And in order to do any project in New York State at this point, basically the applicant, whether it's a subdivision, a commercial building, or a residential home, would have to submit the parcel and do a parcel jurisdictional determination. You give the lot number, address to DEC. They come back with a determination. There's wetlands on the site. There's not wetlands on the site. There's wetlands on the site, but they're not New York State wetlands, because you could have hydric soils, but DEC may not take jurisdiction of them. Hydric soils is one characteristic. It doesn't necessarily mean there's wetlands. It could be wetlands. And New York State will come back, DEC will say, yes, we have jurisdictional wetlands, or no, we don't have jurisdictional wetlands. And that's kind of what, would drive the project that Chris would work with. They would work around the wetlands if they are there. But it's not uncommon. I mean, wetlands are all over and people develop all over. Wetlands do not prohibit development. They may alter the location and things, but they don't prohibit.
But in this specific instance, would the board require this study to be done before they issue the building permit for even the single family home?
That doesn't go to the board, so I'll let Chris answer that. That's just a building permit.
Yeah, one of the things that I look at is whether or not it's in the wetlands, right? Or near the wetland. Where he's proposing to put this house, we're not even close to the wetland. But yeah, I mean, that is one thing that I do look at.
Can I say, come on, hi, my name's Erin Relation, I live at 464 Schoharie Turnpike, so I'm kind of like kitty corner here. To the project, I know he's saying right now just one residence with a future application for a subdivision for 5. My concern is like Williamsburg like historically struggled with water, like I know the school runs out of water, all those situations, so. And my neighbors, they built a house in 2016 and when they did, it did disrupt our well. So my question is like, if there's 5 more wells dug like really close to my property, like what is that gonna do to all our water? And I have horses, so we use a lot of water. So.
Well, if it went that route, we'd be into a subdivision, major subdivision review, and that would be one of the criteria the board would look at under seeker and, those sorts of impacts. We might require a hydrologic study.
Okay, so there would be studies first before things, okay.
Rick Petchko, 2344 Schoharie Turnpike. I just have probably a rhetorical question. Is the Miss Michelle here tonight?
Yes.
Oh, yes, okay, so I guess my question would be, let's assume you build your house and you're there. Would your intentions be to stay, and I guess it's irrelevant to the building of the house. Would your intentions be to stay even if you weren't able to subdivide and build all the extra homes? Are you trying to make Gillen, I apologize, I'm from there, Dwaynesburg, your home for years, or is this just kind of a business venture? And then kind of an in and out thing. It's probably irrelevant to the case, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, it
that's-
really, there's a,
I think if the application is withdrawn,
Oh, okay.
the question will be, at this point, she wants to build a single family residence,
That's right, yeah.
she wants to give it to Santa.
Everyone, thank you.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Thank you in the audience.
If I just get your name for the record.
Ralph Foster.
Anyway, thank you for your patience with this. I know that,
I just, one question though, if they build like house number 2, if they did the second house, does that create a subdivision?
Yeah, you're going to one house.
Then it'd be considered a subdivision?
They got to come back, they got to come to play.
If they add one more, it's a minor. It's the quick process, they try to make it free, but also if you know they wanna do.
Well, that's what I'm saying, isn't that part of?
Yeah, so what he's asking, if they wanted to do 2 houses on 1 lot, they had to come get a special use for a whole thing here. Right, okay. If they want to do 2 houses on separate lots, subdivision, they have to come back.
Right, because what a lot of people do is they do it in steps to get around this, right? That's like the common thing.
And we're aware of that, and if you start to do steps, then we do flag it.
We actually tell people we want, so say that this is their master plan, right? This is the end game for them. We'd rather have them come to us now and
Right.
say, hey, eventually we want to do this, right? We'd rather be them up front with us and say, here's what our master plans. And they're gonna do exactly what, we would hope is like, wait, well, I'm just gonna build 1 house on there. But, they're not saying, they're at least coming,
Right,
do
usually what
what it is
happens in a lot
now.
of these cases, they build,
Yeah.
3 years is another house, 3 years is another
Yeah, so
house.
they're not going back in in incremental steps, just doing one subdivision after another one, at least they're presenting a plan of a master plan. Like I said, we did on like Route 20.
If they want 1 house on this lot, they have to come back.
One more question. During the last meeting, and they admitted they cleared some of the land. If they want to clear the wooded part, the forest, they do have to come back to the town and get permission to do that, yes?
No.
No.
No,
they
they do
don't.
not.
They
That
own the
is a
land.
question for the town board. The town board has not adopted a law that prevents clearing. They've not done that.
So what was it that the board had a problem with you mentioned that they weren't,
When you do seeker, when you're in front of a board for a project and you're in the seeker process, there's a provision in seeker that says you're not supposed to change the land or disturb the land while that process is ongoing. If you're around later, I can show it to you. That was the concern that we had. So once a project is in front of the board and we're reviewing it pursuant to seeker, which we definitely would, a 5-lot subdivision, then you're not allowed to undertake any activities that are considered soil disturbance. Okay, now you've seen, I'm sure, people cutting down trees all over the place, letting the stumps there and letting the trees lay. That's because that is not soil disturbance under the law. Okay, so in Dwaynesburg, we don't regulate tree cutting. We don't do that. And when I say we, I'm saying that the town board has chosen not to regulate that. And if I can say, the reason for that probably is because there are a lot of people that do have tree farms, do take down trees in town, do participate with foresters, do agricultural activities. So there's a reason to do it and not do, but that's really not this board. We don't make those laws. That's the town board.
so she could clear out all those trees in everybody's backyard, regardless of the environmental impact to anyone's property, and that's
well,
her
it's-
right to do that.
It's not your backyard. She can't go on your property. She can clear the trees on her
Right,
property.
Right, that it butts up to,
But it's private property
Okay.
that she owns.
and she could do that without notice and without
It's like
approval.
you could do the same thing on your property, you could go through and cut down whatever trees you wanna
why we.
Like heating with water, whatever it is, you can.
I think there's if it affects the water going onto your property, then that would be a different story.
That's a soil disturbance.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, this would just be cutting the trees by hand. That's the definition that DEC uses to determine whether there's soil disturbance or not.
So she can't remove the stumps? Is
No.
it? Okay.
Now, and
Well, she could if she got a permit from DEC, again, she would not have to come to this board. She could do it, she could get any property owner, if you wanted to clear cut your land and, you know, remove all the stumps and everything else, you're gonna need a SWIP because you're gonna have over 1 acre of disturbance. And you would get a permit from DEC, but it wouldn't be regulated by the planning board.
the town is not what's called an MS4. We're in a rural area, we're not in an urban area, so we don't implement the stormwater program, DEC does.
Thank you for the clarification.
All right, well, again, thanks for your,
You wanna do a motion to the table?
yeah, and, make a motion to table the, Kareem Bill, an application.
I didn't believe it.
All right, we'll table it until such time as we get the letter with Ryan application.
I'll second that.
Chairman Bennett?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris?
Yes.
Board Member Hopkins?
Yes.
Board Member Hopkins?
Yes.
Board Member Walker?
Yes.
Next item under sketch plan. Yeah, that's why I want to excuse themselves. The excitement is yet to come. The next item on tonight's agenda.
So everybody can hear you.
The next item under sketch plan review was the application from Ashley Dawson, she told her not to show up today. We're gonna move to our next one, which is Ken Seeley. And proposes a construct 6 4-unit townhouses in the town of Williamsburg at 4136 Western Turnpike. So it's a 6-lot major subdivision. So Ken here.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Fine.
Thank you for listening to our mapping here.
Yeah.
We've been, Roger and I have been thinking about how to subdivide the property in the most efficient manner.
Yeah.
Utilizing some of the influx of the town to be able to do so. That one particular piece is 46 acres. And we're looking at installing 6 4-unit townhouses. On the left part, of course, you can tell that it's hilly terrain. So there's a lot of different uses. And it will remain forever wild in that aspect. But we're thinking that because the sewer system is so close to this, we could tap into the sewer systems. And talking to people at Environment One, they've come up with a grinder pump system that would be in each one of the units. So the property owner would be in charge of maintaining that particular grinder pump. That kind of eliminates the town from having to deal with any of the maintenance aspects of a sewer system for this.
So just to be clear, if you're tapping into the town system, you would have to apply to the town board
Correct.
for an extension.
Correct.
And then we would have Delaware Engineering review that because they're the ones who designed the systems at this point. And we would need to establish that there's sufficient capacity, which
I mean, we're constantly getting letters, people that are attached to the system about.
grinder pump failures.
Yeah, no, the overflow of the wastewater treatment system based on the I&I. So,
Well, so the town has to continue to look for sources of I&I and correct it, and that's what the town is doing.
correct,
Yeah.
that means that there really isn't capacity.
Well, that's where we'll let the engineers advise us on that point, because I don't know as I'm sitting here. And, sorry, so I
That's
didn't mean to
okay,
interrupt.
that's why I'm here, it's
Yeah.
preliminary, you know, so we're trying to get the education now.
But you would, looking at this, if you wanted to do grinder pumps. Each one of the, again, we get to the same situation where you don't have lot frontage. For a
Right.
public road,
That's correct.
so you would have to have a private low pressure force main. You wouldn't have 6 individual taps into the sewer system, you would have 1 tap into the sewer system and a private low pressure force main.
Exactly, yes.
So is that road similar to the last one, is that going to be a proposed?
HOA, it's all gonna be done as an HOA.
So is it like the last one, like where that
Similar.
road is not a town road, but each of these is fronting on private? road?
And then we have to go to the ZBA to get the approval.
It's like a lot,
Yeah,
pretty much, yeah.
yeah, and there was a couple. There was at least one project I can think of in the town that was approved this way. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It was on Knight Road. And there was to be a private road that ran, and there was an HOA formed and even a stormwater district. Because we have to do a stormwater district as well. And that never went to fruition. I think it was approved and then it never got built. So it has been done that way before in the town. It was before, it was during when Dale was code enforcement officer, so it was a while ago.
So each one of these townhomes are gonna be a single family residence.
Correct,
They're not gonna be,
2 and 3 bedroom units.
Oh, it's not like they're not multi-family units themselves.
No,
Okay.
it's basically a ranch design, I'm trying to keep it minimal as far as impact, keep it low buildings. And at the end ones would be 3 bedroom units, the center ones would be 2 bedroom units.
So each.
so they are multi-family.
Each building is 4
Each
units.
building is 4 units, we're
The-
talking about
like the one
24
that's Charlie
families.
Rose, all on one level.
All on one level, yeah, yeah,
So it's 24 units total.
24 units total, yes.
And I'm sorry, did you say 2 bedrooms in each unit?
2 bedrooms for the middle units, 3 bedrooms for the end units.
And do you own the frontage along Route 20 or you don't own the frontage along? Route
The piece that we own is right here.
20? Okay.
There's a piece on Route 20 here, and then all of this borders Route 20.
Okay.
It rolls off so much
Says Route
that it's
7.
not really buildable.
That's
This
Route
is the
7.
entrance. This is the entrance to 88 here.
So is it Route 7 or Route 20 on it's Route 7?
Route 7,
Okay,
so
so
it's
Route
7.
20.
Teresa,
Route 7, Route 20 is down here.
Okay.
wouldn't be a 6-lot subdivision, then it would be a 24-lot subdivision, wouldn't it?
Well, let's step back a second. Are you planning on selling them as condominiums or are you planning on selling them as separate units?
Separate units, townhomes.
Yes, yes.
When I hear townhouses, I usually interpret your individual unit.
That's correct.
Your unit, not the building, the unit.
So
So,
the units are the building.
HOA will
Segment of the building.
this is a much more complicated project than we usually do.
That's why we're starting early.
Yeah, and so Lou Lisi's doing a project like this sort of in Whispering Pines. Only there's you can do it a couple different ways. You can have title to the unit, you can have title to the unit plus a little bit of property. You know, but what happens is you have a subdivision at the time and actually build the foundations. So it's a little, it's complicated. We just haven't done this yet.
We're thinking it behooved the town to have a piece of property that's an affordable home aspect. And that's what we're trying to do, affordable homes. But today, affordable is a relative term. I mean, I just got through building a house on North Mansion, 2,000 square foot, these people are pulling $600,000 by the time we finish. Where's the affordability there? I'm thinking these units are gonna sell for somewhere around 350s, 400. brings it down to a more affordable.
The whole 6 units or just the individual unit?
Individual use.
Individual unit, yeah, individual unit.
Yeah, that, I mean, the cost of housing in New York is just skyrocketing.
Astronomical.
And they're talking now about requiring each single family residence to have sprinklers, which is gonna add $30,000 and be completely unworkable. One kid.
Well, you don't have capacity, you don't have water.
No, we don't.
Yes.
Doesn't work out here, for sure, unless you have your own tank on your property.
Well, the other thing is, we're not planning on punching in 24 wells either. This is gonna need a municipal water system,
Which we don't have.
which we're gonna build. We've gotta build it somehow.
You're gonna build your own municipal.
Me, I'm gonna build it.
Where are you
They
gonna
part
get
of
the
the
water?
HOA, they're gonna maintain it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all about them, you know, I mean, they gotta be convinced, you know, it's just like.
Where are you getting your water?
We're gonna drill wells.
That's not.
We're gonna drill wells, I talked to
That's not the way.
Zach Scrumma, he's gonna punch it in, he's the one who did my well up there, Mark Lawrence.
Didn't we just have water issues with,
Dollar
Dollar
General.
General? That's why they've had Porter John out there for the last.
The problem with them, was the driller, the driller drilled to China, he couldn't find any water.
Okay.
You know, they get paid by the foot, they don't care how far it
Yeah,
goes.
let's not have that conversation.
Yeah, let's not go there again.
So in order to get a public water supply permit, a water withdrawal permit and everything, you would have to do a 24-hour pump test and all that stuff.
Fully aware of it, planning on doing it.
But, well, at least they have sewer.
Yeah.
That's what the beauty of it is, the fact that there is a sewer.
If we have that.
Talk to, how does he contact Delaware Engineering to see?
I would recommend that you.
I have,
Okay.
Have you
they're the
talked
ones
to
that
Bill
designed the
Brown?
pump. They're the ones that just, they mentioned to me, a guy named Will talked to me, a PE from their facility. And he told me that they've come up with this new piece that's a very small unit that fits right in the basement. Or they could do it as a one unit for the entire building. I said, no, I don't want that. I want the homeowner to be responsible for their own equipment. Just like you would if you had a single family home. You're responsible for your own grinder pump. So the town should not be responsible to maintain maintenance of the grinder pumps. The only 20 years of a life expectancy. Why should the town be liable for that? The homeowner should be responsible for it, just like a hot water tank or anything else. So that's what the beauty of this whole system. When I heard that, I said, this is a home run. This bails the town out from responsibilities in that respect. All we gotta do is come up with a water system. And our lovely governor has put 300 million in our budget for affordable housing. Isn't that what we're talking? Affordable housing, right?
That's not a program.
Can we tap into some of that money? I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna do the research and I'm gonna see if we can get a grant to help with this water system. 72, I'm going back into business again. You know,
Well, you.
I got a 5-year plan here and I'm done. I'm leaving.
That's ambitious.
Well,
Means something I think the town really does need is affordable housing there
I-
or available housing. Very
exactly,
little real estate.
exactly. You know, I think it's a home run for the town. You know,
Well,
we all have children. We all want to have a place for our children to grow up. And we want to have and this little nested little area here is so wooded and so private that it'd be its own little nature preserve in there.
Won't be that.
I'm only gonna clear what I need to build buildings and that's it.
Okay,
all
well,
right, what's next step?
well, then the next steps would be, you know, it would be helpful to come in with more information regarding soils, you know, show us what the capacity of the property is in terms of what you're proposing to build, okay? And we're gonna have to check with Delaware Engineering on the capacity and the concept that you've put out here. And as far as the water, you would have to form a private water company, a water transportation corporation. And then the HOA would have to take it over.
Right.
And, you know, that raises some questions because with respect to sewage transportation corporations, towns are generally on the hook for those if something goes wrong. I don't think that's true for water transportation corporations, but that's likely a question the town is gonna have for you.
Mhm.
And the mechanism for how you're gonna transfer these once they're built and who's gonna own what and the HOA. So it's, you know, how many units are you proposing here?
24.
24. Okay, so that's a lot of moving parts for only 24 units.
Right.
So just saying.
And you're gonna have stormwater, which you don't have shown on here, so you're gonna have,
Well, there's our stormwater right here. There's a big hole right there that we're gonna run it to.
a little more complicated than that, but.
I wish it was that easy.
And that's gonna have to be owned and maintained by the HOA as
Oh,
well,
yeah.
so there
Oh, yeah.
are more costs.
Yeah.
You know, the private road is gonna be owned by the HOA, more
Mhm.
costs.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but if you're on Route 7, there's 4 very nice units there, at least 4, maybe more. You know, where they used to have the dinosaur, you know what I'm talking about. They're like townhomes stuck together. They have, I don't even know if they're on the septic system or a sewer system at that location.
No,
probably not.
it ends at
Dollar General.
Dollar General.
Dollar General, so. I mean, maybe, just saying, you might wanna have a more modest approach that doesn't have all this infrastructure. That's just my suggestion. You don't have to follow it.
I'm just nervous about punching 24 wells in and getting 24 legitimate water supplies for all those families without causing issues in the long run.
Right, but
Whether you have 24 wells, you're still gonna need the same amount of water, so.
Same amount of water, but done in a different way.
it's really it's really rigorous to get a public water supply permit from the county. It really is.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm loaded for bear on this one.
So it would be a lot of trip to the ZBA and to the planning board and stuff.
That's fine. I'm ready.
And you might want to consider, we don't have a PUD in our ordinance. You know, planned unit development. But you could always seek, you know, rezoning to address it as well.
Yeah, okay.
And that's not this board, that's the town board, so.
So what's our next step? Where do I go from here?
Well, we've given you a lot of things to think about. And, you know, I think that even for a sketch plan, we kind of need more information. You know, it's especially key whether or not you can hook into the sewer system.
Okay, so you want me to contact the people who designed the sewer system? Chris has the number for them. I can get it from Chris.
Yeah, you can just Google them, yeah.
Dollar.
You should be able to get capacity off of how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, all that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, Delaware will ask for all that.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to do a two-piece component design of gravity system, or their three-piece really. Their private system, the existing gravity system, and then the pump station that goes up. It goes down to the firehouse, and then there's a main pump there that pumps up to the top of Cole Road. And then it goes down into the wastewater treatment plant, so you gotta have them analyze the pump station. The town's pump station at the firehouse, as well as the overall system and treatment plant have capacity.
Right, and somebody will have to pay for that analysis, not the town, so I just, you know, okay,
Look at him.
all right.
Good question.
Yeah, what is like the traffic impact and all that? Is that all?
Okay, we have to do a
Yeah,
traffic.
you have to do a
Okay.
traffic study.
Right, sure.
site distances and capacity of the road, how many cars are going per day, they had to do all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is
Alright.
that piece that's been for sale?
Well, next to it, between there,
Okay.
there's it's like a, you know. One farm, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's all there.
We would also need a map showing the setbacks and everything else on it, just doesn't show the setbacks. So,
The
it's
road,
about how you break each one of these 6 lots up for individual unit without multiple lot lines.
you would have that. You would
Yeah,
have multiple
okay, so you would have the, okay.
Yeah,
Right,
no,
exactly.
you would.
And then each one of those internal lots needs an area variance because you no longer have a side yard setback, right?
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
it's more variances.
And
Yeah.
parking, you gotta
Yeah.
You need parking two cars per unit?
Yes.
Right, so each one, maybe having space.
So there'll be 2-car garages, each one will have its 2-car garage and they'll be long enough so that 4 cars can fit in easily.
The 2-car garage and still all single level, no,
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah,
within that box.
oh yeah. 150 feet by 50 feet, more than.
I mean, the problem is you need so many area variances that would be another reason to come to the town board
Right.
and seek, rezoning for that particular use. You know. Otherwise you just got bits and pieces all.
Okay.
Even the road.
I think you've done a lot of homework.
I guess. Making a lot of notes.
Yeah.
The town definitely needs more housing. There's no doubt.
You know? The Putnam Farm is 197 acres, we just did 4 lots, 2 of them are sold. Meeting with a customer tomorrow for a 3rd one. You know, and obviously, people have all driven 7 and 20, you've seen what we've done with the funds, the farm looks like it's a whole brand new building all of a sudden, the barn looks good. We did the roof, we did the outside of the building, trying to dress up the town so it looks presentable, you know? We finally, after building this first house, we generated enough cash flow to be able to clean things up. And we're gonna continue, we're not gonna stop, you know? This poor family has struggled since 88 came through because it put the farm out of business. And they've been struggling to pay the taxes ever since. Now it's time for them to cash in on their investment.
Well, I think you should definitely have some conversations with the town board as well.
Okay. So we'll plan to go with the next plan board meeting. I'm ready. Okay. All right, very good. Anything else?
So, you,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just table it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So I'll make a motion to table the Kent County subdivision, especially use permit.
you have something for us by March 20th, 10 days before the meeting, submit it.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. Good. Next one.
Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
Chairman Fair.
Yeah.
Board Member Hoffman.
Yes.
Board Member Howard.
Yes.
Okay, the next item under sketch plan review is Fabio.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Well, Kuzio, how are you?
There you go. Where's these?
Well, this is part of the farm. I'm 20. My daughter decided she wants to move to the area and that's it.
Where are we in 20?
Where am I?
We're on 20.
Gil Jewett.
Oh, okay,
So this part is the leg on the Mott Road.
okay, all right. Yep.
Rather than mess around with the farm, decent lot over there off Mott Road. It's either that or Suits Road where my son lives.
So it's the small one right in the middle, that's the new one?
I don't even know.
It says proposed on my. Right.
You can't read the reading, but
Yeah.
it's this one, right?
Yeah, that's what it says.
The bigger of the lots, I think 3.8 or 9, does it say?
It's 3.6.
Oh, okay.
And we still maintain road frontage at the far left end.
Yeah, there's adequate road frontage, there's quite a bit, all road frontage,
On
actually.
and west.
It's a pretty square lot.
Nick Costa.
Oh, it's Nick? Oh. Where did Chris go? This is where we ask him to do all work.
Yeah,
know, he just ran.
Smart guy.
and that lot's got enough space and it's flat areas for, without wetlands for a house and septic. or-
Oh, yeah,
Uphill everything.
Yeah.
yeah, where it slopes down, I'm gonna stay away
It's-
from.
there's a
which
draw
would-
right
would
through
be
the middle
this
of the
area
property.
over here. Probably shows the elevations there, the house
Yeah.
is gonna be over here.
This one.
The septic would be over here. I don't really have much wetland on that farm, surprisingly, You know, the power, everything's pretty convenient right there.
We have those right to the minor.
Yeah, we can work for it. Yeah, which is the parent lot? That's
That's the whole thing.
The whole
the big one behind.
I think this was,
Part of Lucarelli.
Lucarelli property, yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
I bought the Juliet, and then Joe, I got that piece from Joe, you know, touched the farm, and then I own the property. I like it over here, I clean the place up, you know, and. Okay.
So, and the parent piece has access through it must be, what is that, Mott?
And 20.
The 20, yeah, they're all, yeah.
Yeah, this is me too,
Okay.
I don't have any more kids, but. There's a lot over there. Grandkids, whatever, you know, that goes to that, I think that was 80 some acres, or, no,
That must be.
I don't know, anyways.
A lot.
So that's the farm, the old Jewett, this is the, you know, that parcel that runs along with 1 acres, and, yeah.
That's a giant area.
Yeah, but I can't tell where it's going to. I mean, it goes like, does it going up or is it going?
No, it goes.
It slopes down.
Yeah.
Through.
Slopes down,
It's on the
not
back.
bad,
The high side of this.
driveway's not bad, I mean, I already got a driveway there, I mean, it slopes down, you know, not bad, straight, no culverts, no nothing, I got permits from the county for the driveway and everything years ago. But other than that, you know, well, and the septic, and Nick will do all the septic on that.
Do we need to wait for Chris to ask me any questions?
No, you-
There you go.
Sorry,
That's all right.
that was my daughter.
Oh, they take priority. Some people give them land. Are we?
What's up?
No, that lot I have on my road, I might give my daughter,
Yeah.
Make sure you.
It seems,
No, I kind of figured that's the direction that we'll go, and I told them that they would probably go. There's no, I have no. Anybody on the board have any application? Yeah. Okay. Watch this out.
So the planning board has reviewed the Fabio Focaccio.
Focusio.
It's not great.
There you go, nobody else.
Minor subdivision, we have determined that this action neither creates nor increases any significant planning issue with respect to the existing or potential future use of any involved parcels. We put a proposed action to exempt any further subdivision review pursuant to section 3.4 and refer the application to the code enforcement officer to complete administration of the same. So basically what you're doing there is you don't have to come back here, we're done, we approved it, and it goes to Chris, he'll deal with the rest of it.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Yep. Thank you. I made that motion.
I'm starting to sweat there, everybody else.
Well, I mean,
One person's
Kind of easy.
I need 3 paper maps and a Mylar.
You gotta
I'm
vote.
sorry, I'm deaf.
We gotta
Did you
vote.
take that?
Okay, go ahead.
Let him vote. first.
Okay, let them go first.
Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt.
Yes.
Board Member Hoffman.
Yes.
Board Member Houghton.
Yes.
Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
Now you can talk.
Now I need 3 maps, paper maps, and yeah, and 1 Mylar. Mylar, the same.
Thank you.
Good? Good, thank you. Have a good night.
Wait a minute, I thought I was gonna get beat up.
Hey, she'll be your neighbor.
We'll be our neighbor. Have a weird shelf location.
We got 2 minutes.
All right.
Basically, that's being subdivided into that one section. That was part of the unit farm.
Yes.
Okay, yes, that's all I need. Yep, 100%. Thank you, no problem. No, I'm good. I've seen they've been working on it for a while on and off, so.
Yeah, we had a new business, but it doesn't look like Mr. Watson is here.
Or no, it's not that they didn't, they're not doing it.
Lawton's not
Who's not doing it?
buying.
Lawton, it's
I'll-
the
I'll make
application.
one.
Okay.
done.
They went into the house the other day and all the pipes were burst. They never winterized it, the realty company or whoever's supposed to winterize it.
Fire damage or?
Yeah, the toilets are all blown apart.
I've never been really privy to any of this before. All I can say to all of you is God love you.
Thank you. We're going to minutes now, or we good there?
There is no new business.
8:20, we might set a record here.
Okay.
This meeting is-
I thought that was great, well done again. You want to?
No.
Who wants to
Let's
stay?
get-
No, yeah.
No, I don't want
So
to.
Matt going on some swips and we'll be here for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, 10 o'clock's my limit. Come on.
Oh, I got something for you guys to read too. See, I'm gonna keep it longer. See how this works?
Does anybody have time for the minutes?
No,
No, the minutes were well done.
Well done, I agree.
Just like that, everybody recognizes how nice these.
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
I love compliments.
So,
You said it.
Lindsay gets a,
And they're
She gets
very hard to do.
a free attaboy.
It is not-
She also
enjoys
tweeting her horn.
I did, I really did, I really did.
Easy to find everything?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, it's
So I'll make a motion to approve the January 20. January
You
16th.
could have just emailed it.
January 16th.
I'll second.
One about it, but
Vice
I didn't
Chairman
really
Hughes,
remember
Yes.
if I got.
Board
down
Member
the line.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt,
yes,
Board Member Houghton,
Yes.
Board Member
I've
Walpole.
been
You
keeping
guys,
tab-
right?
I've been keeping that involved.
yeah, just for the board's sake, Chris is handing out some correspondence from a meeting that took place.
Well, hang on a second.
Finish.
Somebody want to adjourn the meeting and.
Well, do we have to talk about the local law?
Local laws of that, they gave us 3 new local laws, all dealing with battery storage and just for our information, so. Right?
Oh, yeah, they've been adopted.
Yeah,
They've been adopted. I'm sorry. They've been adopted and the camper law is no more. Okay,
Oh, that's gone.
that's gone. That's gone.
Oh,
Really?
That's gone. I'm not talking about it.
All right.
Okay,
Make a motion to adjourn the
there
meeting.
we go.
I'll second.
okay, Board Member Houghton,
Yes.
Board Member Hoffman,
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt,
Yes,
Vice Chairman Harris,
Yes.
Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
okay, so.
Hang on, hang on.
You want me to turn off this device as well? You good?
Yeah.